Hello, Brave Moms! I just went live on my personal page talking about beholding God's will in every circumstance. And now we're here for Become Shaped by Surrender, our heart check moment, and week 8 of, oh my goodness, week 8 of Everyday Worship Series. I guess let's just dive in. Who is really holding the steering wheel of your life? You would probably say God is, or I want God to be at the helm. Is the helm the front? Now I don't even know. Okay. We want it to be God. But if we're really honest, does your heart always live like that's true? I don't know. Maybe you've caught yourself thinking, if I could just know what's going to happen, I'd finally have peace. If I could just make the right homeschooling decision, then everything will work out. If I could just get my kid to listen, then if I could just fix this relationship, if I could just make the right decision. Without even realizing it, you start gripping the steering wheel tighter and tighter. And here's the hard truth. Control doesn't actually give you peace. It only promises peace. The more you try to control every outcome, every conversation, every kid, every plan, and every unknown, the more exhausted your heart becomes. I kind of have personal experience in this. Because you were never created to carry that weight. Psalm 115 says, "Our God is in the heavens. He does all that He pleases." What a comforting reminder. God is in the heavens. God knows everything. And God does everything He pleases. God is in control. Nothing happening in your life has caught God off guard. He knew the hailstorm was going to destroy your property. He knew that your kid was going to get in a car accident. He knew everything. He knows everything. The struggle with your kid, the financial pressure you're in, that your marriage maybe feels hard, or that you got a diagnosis of something. He's not surprised by anything. And the future that feels uncertain to you is not uncertain to Him. God already sees what you can't. And sometimes you believe that if you plan enough, if you prepare enough, or maybe it's just me, maybe you research enough, or you think through every possible outcome, you'll finally feel secure. Planning isn't wrong. Being prepared isn't wrong. But somewhere along the way, your heart can quietly begin trusting your plans more than your God. The biggest temptation isn't really control. It's believing you can avoid having to trust in God. Because surrender feels vulnerable. Giving it over, letting go, that's hard. And surrender means saying, Lord, I don't understand what you're doing, but I trust who you are. And I can't see tomorrow, but you already stand there. I don't know how you'll work this out, but I do know you'll never leave me. That's what surrender means. That kind of surrender, it doesn't make you weak. Put free in the comments if you're hearing this today, because it actually sets you free. Because suddenly you're no longer carrying a responsibility that has never been yours to carry. So here's a heart check moment. What are you holding so tightly that God is gently asking you to place back in His hands? Is it your kid's future? Your marriage? Your homeschool year? It's that one for me right now. Your finances? Your health? It's that one for me right now too. All of these actually. A relationship maybe, or an unanswered prayer. God has never asked you to control the outcomes. He just asks you to trust. Trust Him, the one who already knows the outcome. So here are our reflection questions. As you spend time with the Lord, ask these questions. Where do I feel the strongest need to stay in control? Just trying to get that one in the comments here. It wasn't really working for me, but it is now, I think. Oh, I just noticed this little box down here on my live. There's like, okay, so I have this window open where my video is up there and it shows you your timeline. And I never noticed this, but it shows viewers. Oh, it's a graph, and whenever there's a line on the graph, then the viewers are there. Facebook has changed a lot of things with lives. But back to our reflection questions. What burden have I been carrying that God never asked me to carry? If you just sit with God about this question or with this question, He can kind of like prune things out, bring them to light, so then you can deal with them instead of just sitting in it and loading it on, carrying it day after day. Where am I asking God to follow my plan instead of asking Him to show me His? This is such a good question to ask whenever you start planning anything. Where am I asking God to follow my plan in this? And instead of asking Him to show me His plan. Now, we have a daughter who is staying for an extended period of time in Michigan with a best friend. And we had an altercation. Me and the mom had a misunderstanding. And we never planned how Ruthie was going to get home from the very beginning. We just planned how we were going to get her there so that they could take her on this vacation to Florida. And oh my goodness, we had a misunderstanding, and then I, at the last minute, asked her if she could bring Ruthie to a location where Eli was. And I was not telling her she had to do that. I just was like, at the last minute, I found out he was going to be there longer than the one day. And I just was like, oh, hey, do you think you could bring her there? But she didn't take it like that. She kind of read into my asking as, take her there, this is the plan. That wasn't the case, but we just miscommunicated. So then she was upset about it and sent me a message that it was decent, but it kind of had a couple jabs in there about my life, and I was just like annoyed and upset myself now because I'm thinking things that weren't true, first off, and I didn't tell myself to stop. I mean, I didn't respond to her, but then that got her upset because I wasn't responding. But I didn't want to be rude in responding, so I just held off a bit. And then I was on the phone with Ruthie, and the mom came in and kind of took over our phone conversation, and it turned south pretty fast, and she was saying very mean things and using very mean words. And I just was like, I don't want to fight with you. We're misunderstanding each other. We're making it way more complicated than it has to be. So I will figure out how to get Ruthie home, and I'll let you know. And I hung up while she was screaming at me. But she realized she was wrong for behaving that way after I apologized for the misunderstanding and how I didn't expect her to bring Ruthie there and explain things. But it's really caught me off guard with how I see myself, and I don't know. Now I'm just spiraling in front of you guys on a live, like literally right now, thinking about things in my head. So I need to stop thinking about that. But we had to create a plan of getting Ruthie home, and I have a different view on it than Ted does. Ted is like, we need to get her, just go, come back, one day, whatever. And I sat with God about it. I do not think it should be that fast. I think we need to take it slower. I think we need to use this as an opportunity to maybe see his parents again, because I'm actually dealing with my dad having surgery and his aftercare plan, and just realizing that our parents are getting older and they're getting more fragile. And if you have an opportunity where you can go and see them in person, we need to kind of capitalize on it. He wasn't even going to see his parents when we went to get Ruthie, and I'm a little more sensitive to it just because of all the things that are happening with my dad, and I actually feel bad because I cannot just drop everything and go and be there with him in the hospital. He is okay and stable, but it just makes me a little bit more sensitive to the fact that in a minute your family members can be gone. We need to slow down, and we need to ask God, does he want us to visit instead of just quick grab and go kind of thing. And I was actually disappointed because Ted decided to shut my idea down really fast. But then later, the next morning, he gives me a call in the morning, which is really odd for him. He's usually very busy with his work parts and getting to his first job or whatever it is. He called me and was like, I think I changed my mind. I think it would be okay to visit, to go and spend one night. And I just was like, oh, okay, well that changes things. So God is working. God is figuring out the plan. He already knows what we're going to do. He already knows how we're going to get Ruthie. He already knows how everything is going to turn out. And are we going to give that over to him? Are we going to let go of that steering wheel a little bit and say, I'm here for the ride, God? That was what that whole story was all about. But anyways, brave mom, you don't have to know what's coming to know the one who does. You don't have to have every answer to faithfully walk it out with him, because he already knows. You don't have to hold everything together. I know moms are so bad at this. We try to hold everything together because we think we have to. You don't have to hold everything together, because the God who holds the universe is holding you. Today, you can unclench your hands. You can release the pressure and the weight to figure everything out yourself. You can stop trying to carry tomorrow before you've even lived today, because your peace has never depended on your ability to control your life. Your peace has always depended on the God who is faithfully in control of it all. He's in control of your life. He's in control of your kids' lives. He controls it all. And if you rest in that, then peace is going to grow. So today, I want you to open your hands, trust your shepherd, and rest. Because the safest place your future has ever been is in the hands of God. That's all for today, and I will see you here after our live on my personal page next week. I don't even remember what our title is. Now I'm trying to be like, ooh, what are we going to talk about? Behold praise in failure. Now, we fail all the time, so we need to learn how to praise in that and become secure in kingdom success. So how are you measuring success? And do we need to change it? I'm not just talking about you, I'm talking about me too. Happy connecting, everyone, and just enjoy your weekend.